Conspiracy theorists. You either love them or you hate them. Or perhaps you have been called one yourself. I know I have. Although the first recorded use of the term is way back in 1863, it really became widely used by the CIA and mainstream media when people started speculating, mostly correctly as it has recently been revealed, about the assassination of JFK. Many other so-called conspiracy theories have been proven true, at least in part. The Alex Jones conspiracy theory that water was changing the sex of frogs? Well, it turned out to be true. I could mention others, but YouTube wouldn't like it. As I always say, not all conspiracies are true and not all truth is a conspiracy. The term conspiracy theorist is a derogatory term used to discredit people who are questioning the narrative. Some so-called conspiracies are the result of research and investigation, and some are just wacky ideas. I used to be a flat earther. I kid you not. I was seduced by the idea of hidden truths, and some of the things pointed out to me made perfect sense. Until it dawned on me that I didn't take science as a subject in school, so when I started to fill that gap, I quickly abandoned that belief. There are other seemingly wacky beliefs I have that have stood up to close scrutiny using the baloney detection kit I shared last week. There is another way that you can tell if a conspiracy theory is worth looking into, and that is by how the people who are putting it forward are treated by mainstream media. It's called astroturfing. According to the online Merriam-Webster dictionary, astroturfing is defined as organized activity that is intended to create a false impression of a widespread, spontaneously arising grassroots movement in support of or in opposition to something such as a political policy, but that in reality is initiated and controlled by a concealed group or organization such as a corporation. We see this happening all the time. Remember when the news media was calling a certain right-leaning group of people by a word that rhymes with Yahtzee? Or how about a certain group of people who were questioning a certain thing that people wanted to inject into them? Remember what they were called? And now there is a name for people who are saying, hang on a second, isn't this just a cycle of warming and cooling? This is all astroturfing, and a very good indicator that the people on the receiving end, those conspiracy nuts, are closer to the truth than you might think. Trust me, it's better to be the astroturfee than the astroturfer. Astroturfing is actually a good name for propaganda, and if history has taught us anything, propaganda is usually a lie that is being pushed extra hard. So how can you tell if it is propaganda, otherwise known as astroturf? Here is a handy guide, and when I use the term they, I am referring to the people doing the astroturfing, and when I say other, I am referring to the opposition. 1. When they use inflammatory language when talking about the other, such as crank, quack, nutty, lies, paranoid, pseudo, and conspiracy. You've heard lots of them: anti-vaxxers, Yahtzees, far-right, incels. The moment labels start getting used, it is likely to be astroturf. 2. When they debunk myths that aren't myths at all. Fact checkers said it was wrong, so it must be wrong. Remember the debunked myth of the origin of a certain virus? It wasn't a myth. This is called creating a straw man. Call something a lie that isn't a lie, say it enough and people will believe you. Then debunk that lie. The powers that be say it's a lie, then best you be too smart to fall for it. What if the notion of it being a lie is the real lie? 3. When they attack an issue by controversializing the people making the claims rather than dealing with the claims themselves. Ad hominems are the reserve of the astroturfer. They attack the person making the claim rather than the claim itself. Look at how they speak about certain politicians. They attack the person but not their policies. They reserve all of their public skepticism for the people exposing the wrongdoing, rather than the people doing the wrong. Instead of questioning authority, they question the people who question authority. It's actually easy to spot, easier now than ever, now that they are ramping up the fear smut. It's hard to look at any social media without seeing it. But see if you can spot the astroturfing. It's there. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's all for this episode. If you've been informed or inspired by this, why not like and subscribe? And I will see you all in the next one.